Adam.
Yeah, and welcome back to another episode of the Gun Collective podcast. My name is Adam Kraut.
And my name is not Adam Kraut.
That's true, it's not.
This is fun.
And today's episode is brought to you by Hollow Sun and Freedom Munitions.
You shouldn't be surprised by that by now.
No.
You shouldn't.
I wasn't.
Okay.
I wasn't.
We're on a new set, Adam.
Yes, yeah, so for those of you listening to the podcast, you can't see this, but our friends, good friends over at Tactical Walls stopped by.
Did you have to look?
No.
You had to look at the label.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, Tactical Walls was here the other day. We'll have a video going up soon-ish. I know Izzy's working on that. We've got their mod wall system pretty much floor to ceiling, and it's covered.
Awesome.
We're not done yet. We've got to get racking for right behind us. This is all going to be vertical racking up top.
We've got more guns.
Yeah, this is all like racking and display stuff. Got my Garand there, which nobody even knew that about. And then there's the 500.
Is it in 6.5?
That Garand? No.
It was a joke. Don't hurt me.
I have a Springfield M1A in 6.5 upstairs. Are you mad?
There is no God.
You should be mad. There is no God, he says. Yeah, so that's super cool. You know, we're really excited about Tactical Walls, and this will be like a new area. The podcast set will rotate with some other content we're doing, like unboxings and some other like. Maybe...
Oh yeah, we filmed one of those earlier too.
Yeah,
there's one out. Yeah,
we can't unfortunately show you a lot of things going forward of like educational, like here's how to build this gun because YouTube sucks.
That's right, and we're streaming on your platform.
Yeah, and we're streaming on YouTube. Anyway, so Super Chat, I will reiterate, if you guys have a question that you absolutely want us to answer, now is the time with the Super Chats. You'll do that. We'll hit it about the halfway point. And then again, before we close up, Izzy will be tracking all of the comments, making sure that we get your important questions. Guys, it's time to get started.
Sure. Yeah, it absolutely is. So this week has been another just continuing march on gun control stuff, and we've got a whole bunch of things to talk about with that. And
I don't understand this. I guess I never will understand the stupidity required to enact all this gun control. So what's happening?
Vermont.
We did a video on the first topic here.
We did, yes, and this will be a legal brief, so we won't dwell too much on the details. But Vermont's governor signed into law yesterday.
Yesterday?
Yeah, it was yesterday.
So despite the fact that there were massive efforts to stop this, it was not. Three
new bills up in Vermont.
3 new bills.
And if you catch the video of it, I don't know, but if you look at the video, there is massive yelling and protesting, and there's some people cheering for it too. But while he was signing this stuff yesterday,
well, it's completely stupid stuff like a magazine capacity limit. A couple other things that we'll cover in the legal brief, but. I mean, the fact of the matter is a state with constitutional carry just passed stuff against AR-15s and the like.
Well, what's really interesting is if you look at the makeup of Vermont tends to trend liberal in pretty much everything, but its gun laws were always, for being as liberal as it is in pretty much everything else, its gun laws were always pretty good, actually.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think there was that separation? Like, were the maple syrup liberals, were they like not? Did they just not care, or how do you think that existed for so long?
Well, it's an interesting question, and I think I saw an article or a post somewhere, and maybe somebody in the comments can correct me on this, but
they will.
I'm sure. Essentially, like the population influx into Vermont over time became more and more liberal, but they just kind of like left some things alone. I mean, you look at New Hampshire. New Hampshire's up in New England.
They're southern New Hampshire is not far from Boston. You know, major cities typically lean liberal.
Well, New Hampshire. The interesting thing about New Hampshire, not to get off topic, but they're what is it? The Free Thought Project.
Is that out of New Hampshire? I didn't know that.
I think it's called the Free Thought Project. My mind's blanking on it, but it's where essentially they're trying to get like-minded individuals to move to New Hampshire and vote libertarian, and it continues to grow, and people are doing that. And New Hampshire is certainly a state I would consider relocating to at some point in my life.
Up there, except for the snow.
Well, you get used to it, I guess.
I guess.
So yeah,
So Vermont sucks.
No, Vermont doesn't suck. It's just it's got a problem. And the interesting
it sucks
thing
in
is
the same way that New York, New Jersey, Maryland,
Well,
DC,
as far as gun
et
laws,
cetera,
yes.
they suck in that way.
and the interesting thing is that Governor Phil Scott's a Republican.
I don't
For
think
any
that,
for
I don't
anybody
think that
keeping
matters
track of
anymore.
labels, I don't think it matters either. I don't think it ever mattered for that.
Wasn't what was the guy's name?
Down in Florida?
Yeah.
Yes.
Rick Scott.
Yes.
Are they brothers? Same last name?
What is it? Not in verse, but he's running. By the way, he's running for Senate
Well, good luck with that. He's
as a
gonna win, I'm
Democratic
sure.
candidate.
But he's listed Republican?
Well, he won't be when he runs
That's
as a
weird.
Democratic candidate.
Okay.
Yeah, so Vermont passed gun control. We will be expecting, my understanding is there will be a lawsuit forthcoming. So stay tuned for that. We'll certainly be watching it here.
Yay, lawsuits.
Yeah, so
More attorney nonsense.
gotta pay the bills, right? In I tweet a lot news, President Trump has nominated Mark Jeremy Bennett to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals.
All right, so who is he?
Well, he's a former attorney, Hawaiian attorney general.
Hawaii, for those that are not aware, is horrible.
It's that
against-
island.
Yeah, thanks, Adam. Real dynamite.
I've been there. It's pretty.
It's
a chain of islands,
That's why
actually.
people come and listen to the TGC podcast, because we point out things like Hawaii is an island in case you forgot.
Or
That's
didn't
why.
know.
So,
trying to be helpful. Sorry.
He's from Hawaii. He was the attorney general in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And typically in those situations, anti-gun state, anti-gun attorney general. Are you sneaking snacks? Is that what's
trying
happening? He's
to.
really quietly trying
I'm
to
hungry.
eat granola. Oh, but I think this is interesting because a lot of people don't realize that Hawaii actually has horrible, horrible gun control. And, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been there.
It's
not very good.
I want to try to make you talk while you have granola in your mouth.
It's really difficult.
Oh.
So anyway, he is he's back to limited interpretation of the Second Amendment. Let's see here. There's some questions here as to Citizens United. For those of you that don't know, it's campaign finance reform. Yeah. So
where's the Ninth Circuit?
The Ninth Circus. That's out west, California.
So they are going to reinforce.
It's known for California. If you want the whole list,
that includes like Washington and stuff.
Let
doesn't
me
it?
pull it up. Yeah, it does.
Where's Wikipedia when we need it?
It's right here. Got it.
Thanks.
District of Alaska, District of
You
Arizona,
don't have to say district.
Alaska, Arizona, all of California, Hawaii, Idaho, Montana, Nevada, Oregon, and Washington.
I think it's interesting that Montana is lumped in there. Same with Idaho. Both of those are typically way pro-gun.
Yeah, but the way the
And Arizona
judiciary is
and-
divided has nothing to do with political.
Oh, sure it doesn't.
The way it was broken up
Yeah,
as
the way
far
it's
as
supposed to be.
the way it was broken up as far as the areas that it covers isn't supposed to be based on political viewpoints.
I think the entire U.S. should just be like at this point you could almost trim off the coasts and be like, okay, those are anti-gun. If you don't want any guns, move to the coast. Everybody inland can have guns. Is that a thing? Can we do that?
No, because the coasts are nice. Like, how about you guys just
Yeah, I guess people like the beach.
Can we find an
But
island
there's sand
that we
at the
can...
beach.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
All right,
you're right.
keep
The
moving. Let's
beach
keep going.
the beach
Let's keep going.
loses.
The beach, yeah. See, like I like the idea of the beach. I like the weather at the beach, but I hate sand.
I don't like the idea of the beach.
What do you mean you don't like?
It doesn't matter.
Well,
we're
see,
getting.
the problem is we grew up near New Jersey, and nobody likes New Jersey beaches.
But I grew up going to Delaware beaches.
Oh, see, you went to Bethany, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you would. Nobody
Hippie.
likes Jersey beaches except people in New Jersey.
Avalon's actually
Philadelphia.
really nice. South Jersey, I'm off, way off.
Yeah.
All right, let's
Okay.
keep moving.
Anyway,
there's a title here because it says they want to take your guns.
well, that's what I titled it in the document.
That's good.
So
And there's a Nazi
and
in
they-
the article. What is this?
and they do want to take your guns.
What is this, Adam?
Well, so you know how they continually say that they don't want to take your guns, although we're seeing them come out more and more and say, yes, we want to take your guns.
We're not here to take your guns, except that one, and that one, and that one, and that one.
Yeah. So,
all right, what's it all about?
Apparently, there is a poll out there.
Who did the poll?
That's a good question. I don't know.
MSNBC.
I don't know.
These polls are ridiculous. Like, we could do a poll and be like, 100% of TGC panelists support sweeping granola legislation.
What's wrong with granola? I'm
don't
reading,
know.
but I
Nothing's
heard
wrong
that
with it.
insult. So I don't actually, now that I'm reading all the way through the article, I don't know where he got this statistic from, but it's up on Ammo Land, and it says 82% of Democrats say ban all semi-automatic firearms, 40% want to repeal the Second Amendment. Now, I don't see a source here, so I'm not going to quote that.
That's actually really, really frustrating, and I think that's worth talking about. If there's... this is something I saw a few times recently where there's like this huge blanket statement, and then there's no thing to provide any kind of backup for that. And I think that's ridiculous. If you're going to make an outlandish claim, you should probably have something to back that up. Like, where did the poll come from? Right? You should probably have that. Where are you looking at?
Okay, all right. So I hopped on Google. We're on hotair.com, which seems like a reliable
that's a really
source.
valid website. Hotair.com.
But
That's what we should change the name of this podcast to.
well, they run ads, so it must be legit.
Yeah.
YouGov, apparently this is where the poll was from. YouGov asked people whether they favor or oppose banning semi-automatic weapons, not semi-automatic rifles, but semi-automatic weapons. So that would include handguns. Here's how it was broken
I don't think
down.
the people being asked that question have any idea if that.
Probably not. So it was broken down by party identification. So Democrat, Independent, Republican. Total 44% favor it strongly.
You want to pop that up on the screen so people can see what we're looking at here?
Yeah, I can.
The people tracking along.
Yes,
at home.
I can do that. So 44%. Give me one
Never
sec.
mind the horrible ads.
Yeah, ignore that nonsense. 44% favor strongly, 11% favor somewhat, 13% oppose somewhat, 20% oppose strongly, and 12% are not sure. There was about 1,400.
So almost 1,500 people,
Yeah.
and somehow that's 82%.
Well, if you
come back to me,
okay,
come back to us. I want to show people on the
well,
screen.
you're not doing
Somehow that's 82%.
well. It is
of
if you look,
Democrats.
If you look
Somebody
at the,
explain this logic.
okay, so look at the party identification on that statistic. 73% of Democrats favor strongly. 9% favor somewhat. I'm not a math major, but I can do that.
1,500 people. How does that represent everybody? I'm throwing my arms up because it's fun because they can see it.
It never does, but you with polling it, you never poll everybody.
It's 15, dude. I could hit 1,500 people on my way. Like I could poll them in Philadelphia today. That's such a low number. How can they?
your statistic would be way more skewed if you polled them in Philadelphia.
But
It'd be like 100%.
my point is, how dare you say 1,500 people and then all Democrats? That's so lazy.
Well, 25% of Republicans favor it strongly.
Yeah, sure they do.
Oh, okay.
Bold.
So apparently, overall, Americans are at 50-33 split.
I just, this kind of crap just irritates me to no end. It's like, I interviewed 5 people and 100% of, it's like that crap on dental commercials. 9 out of 10 dentists say you should use this thing.
Well,
100% of Americans say you shouldn't kill each other.
You want a statistic that'll make you slam your head down against the table?
Head desk.
Whether gun buyers should be forced to undergo a mental evaluation before being allowed to complete their purchase. 52% said yes.
Out of 1,500 people.
Yes, out of 1,500 people.
What was this at a Moms Demand Action rally? Like, what is this?
You only got 52% at the Moms Demand Attention rally? Wow. Slacking.
So we're going to the rally on April 30th here in Pennsylvania.
We're
going to
get to that, but
yeah. But my point is, we should like poll people there.
Pull people there. Yeah, that wouldn't be skewed.
That's my point, Adam.
Hello,
McFly. Keep up.
Oh man.
Hey, if you're enjoying the podcast, let me know in the comments. Me harassing Adam on a weekly basis. Just let us know. Bank of America is a bag of somethings.
Yeah. So Bank of America had released a statement that
This is a good one.
Yes.
This is really, really
the vice
good.
chair stated that the bank doesn't want to, quote, underwrite or finance military-style firearms, end
So
quote,
everything.
and has told a number of gun manufacturers that it will no longer do business with them. I don't know. This FK Bruno is not a military-style firearm.
Yes, it is. It's semi-automatic.
It was a joke.
It's a bad joke.
It's like a rifle cartridge, too. Anyway.
The ammo's upstairs on the way shown. Yeah,
so-
this is an $8,000 pistol for those of you watching the FK Bruno that's sitting here. $8,000. Shenanigans. I did the unboxing on that. So Bank of America.
Yeah, it's lended money to gun makers like Vista Outdoor, Remington, and Sturm Ruger.
So let's propose a question here.
Okay.
And we've talked about this with other banks being stupid. So one of the best ways for somebody to strangle the gun industry is to cut off financing for these giant corporations.
What was that? Was that
agree or
Operation
disagree?
Choke Point?
Yeah,
We'll come back to that.
Yeah.
But yes. Yeah. No, absolutely.
Agree or disagree?
Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
So that being said, there is massive opportunity for a bank to say we will do a business with anyone. We don't care what you're doing as long as it's legal. That would be something to consider. And I think it's interesting that we're seeing this sort of stuff happen with Ruger, Vista Outdoor, and Remington, yet none of them have opened their mouths about it. Where are the big gun companies when it comes to this kind of crap? Where the hell is the gun industry when it comes to this?
Well, what are they going to say?
Something.
What are they going to say? They want to do business.
Sure. So what can they say? We're leaving Bank of America.
Well,
we
they
are
could.
switching to a pro freedom bank.
I think Wells Fargo has pretty much said that, yeah, we're not going to engage in this nonsense.
But my point is, it would do very well for morale if gun companies as a whole would speak up.
Maybe.
Maybe? How would that be detrimental? I mean, it would be detrimental if they open their mouths like the NRA does. I mean, that's detrimental.
Damn.
Dude, listen, the reason the bump stocks are about to be banned is the NRA's fault. Boom. 100%. If they didn't say anything, it would not have happened. Thanks, Chris Cox and Wayne LaPierre. You ruined it.
No comment. I've made my comment.
Dude, I
know. Yeah, sometimes keeping your mouth shut is better than opening it, and other times potentially opening your mouth and doing something is
all they have
useful.
to say is we're switching banks.
Well, that
to show the people that are buying their firearms that, hey, we're not going to deal with this nonsense, but instead they remain quiet.
Well, it doesn't matter because Bank of America is saying that you can't do business with us anymore. So of course they're switching
It's a
banks.
PR move, Adam. It's a PR move.
I don't understand anything about public relations.
I mean,
that was sarcasm.
I'm aware of that. It's a PR move. So
I agree.
They should open their mouth, say, hey, they've made this policy. We are now going to switch banks, even though they kicked us out, because that's the point of this. To communicate, to rally the troops, to support these efforts, these fights against anti-gun nonsense, and these companies that are virtue signaling. Is that the term?
I don't know.
That
It's
just got
stupid,
like
whatever
popped
it
up
is.
overnight. Hey, we're changing the word from being a douchebag to virtue signaling. I'm on a tear. Okay, what's next?
Well, interestingly, there's the vice chair here is quoted as saying these are clients we've enjoyed a relationship with. There are those I think will reduce their portfolios and we'll work with them, and others that will choose to do something else. So apparently, the vice chair believes that some of these manufacturers will all of a sudden stop producing America's rifle in order to continue doing business with Bank of frickin' Russia.
So can we determine speculate, you and I here,
I love speculation.
here on this beautiful new set, can we speculate about whether or not the AR-15 is still one of the single most popular platforms in the US right now?
Frickin' duh.
Well, I mean, it comes down to like the Slim 9s, because I think they were more popular, like concealed carry guns.
The only thing that I think would give it a run for its money would be concealed carry firearms, because more Americans are just deciding to take steps to protect themselves.
The challenge there is that AR-15s have kind of been around longer. as a whole.
Well, if we're talking about from a year-to-year basis, I would tell you,
right
if
now,
we're looking at
yeah.
like a fiscal year
Yeah.
or a calendar year, whatever you want to call it, I would tell you that the only thing I think that would give AR-15s a run for its money would have been concealed carry guns.
Didn't Smith
as
and
a
Wesson
whole.
sell 1 million shields?
They did.
Yeah.
I remember that. Over a million.
But the thing
now.
is, I don't know that holds a candle to AR manufacturers. But anyway, Bank of America, they suck.
So if you're doing
whatever,
business
I wasn't
with
doing
them,
business
say-
with them
say
anyway.
goodbye. So here's another interesting article, and it kind of circles around the whole Bank of America issue, and it's something that I've been saying in a context of framing the conversation being very important when we're talking about public relations and things that I have no idea about, apparently. And this comes from Andrew Toohey, and it's over on the Omaha Outdoors
Do you think it's necessary to give context on who he is?
for Wappen Blog.
He's the reason that SIG did the recall on the 320. The drop thing, that was him.
Didn't FireClean
The
also
fire
sue
clean
him?
thing, that was him.
Didn't know they also sue him?
They
Like,
did
repeatedly?
Yeah, multiple times.
Yeah, so here I think you say from getting sued, but
I mean, this is certainly somebody that does their due diligence and really digs. He's actually a very intelligent guy.
I don't know him from the wall, and I will take your word for it. But what he said in his article, essentially, Bank of America announced today that they will no longer finance companies which manufacture what they call, quote, military-style firearms for civilian use, end quote. And this goes to kind of what I've been saying here. We saw, if you look at the term assault weapon, and you look at how that's been utilized and where it originated from, that originated from the Brady campaign in the late 80s, early 90s. And it was a term created because they were losing the battle at Handgun Control Inc. to ban handguns. It wasn't popular amongst the majority of Americans. So they were like, well, we need a new boogeyman. And they created the term. No, seriously.
I know. It's just funny.
If you look at the document, and I've posted it before, but if you look at the actual document, they basically say, like, we need something else to make people afraid of. This'll do it, and people will be too stupid to realize that these are not the same things that the military uses. So if we use this term and we just continue to use the term, we'll alter public perception of it. And that's exactly what is going on here. Now we're walking away from assault weapons and we're going to military-style weapons, which is even, I don't want to say it's more problematic, but it still paints a picture of, to a person who doesn't understand the purpose of the Second Amendment, or that's a pre-existing natural right for that matter, that, well, what do you need a military-style weapon for?
I really don't know how we are going to fight this perception of need.
Well, first of all, you don't need it. It's a pre-existing right.
But that's my point. I don't know how we are going to combat.
We have to go back. We have to go back to, hey, this is what the Constitution is, and this is how it works. You have a pre-existing right for these things that are enshrined in the Bill of Rights, right? The Constitution's purpose isn't to grant you the right. It is to prevent the government from infringing upon that right that already exists without the government being in the picture. So until
and there's
people
already
understand
plenty
that,
of infringements.
Sure,
as a big term, yes.
But it's and. I think if you're talking to somebody who's a reasonable individual and understands, like, okay, well, if this isn't granted by the document only prevents something, in theory anyway, from infringing on something that already existed. Okay, maybe we've now altered the course of the conversation here. The problem is that the anti-gun side has been very effective at framing the conversation in a manner that they want to have it. Very effective at it.
Gotta agree with you there. I mean, they've controlled the conversation for a long time. You know, we've been kind of dug in and trying to fight back for a long time. And this is why I say things like, where is Ruger? Where is blah 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 blah? Where are these companies? Because I don't have the money or resources to shout from the rooftops. We have limited reach. We have more than some, but we have limited reach still, and it's very difficult to educate people nationwide that are not, like, we educate people on the internet, but if you're not subscribed or you're not paying attention directly to us, it's difficult to reach new people. And I feel like as firearms owners, we need this. We need a kick in the rear. We need a fire under our butts because we're clearly divided. I mean, you see hunters out there like, oh, I don't care about ARs.
Well, and they very well might not.
But that's the thing. We don't have enough of a voice to silence that. You see what I'm saying?
Well,
like, we are not a united front, and they are. They just want it all gone.
You're absolutely right with that. The problem is that not the problem, but one of the things that you just observed is exactly right. They may be divided in either tactics or how far that they want to go, but it's always a united front. It's never divisive as to some people want this, some people want that. The interesting thing, to some degree, is that you look at gun owners and it's all over the map. Well, you got people like me. Like, I should be able to walk into a gun shop, buy a machine gun, go home.
Well, then you've got the there's like tiers. People want everything. People say, I don't care about bump stocks, and they're willing to let that go.
Well, if we just give them that, they'll go away, right?
The playing chess, not checkers.
Well, Uncle Daddy Trump will take care of it, right?
Uncle Daddy Trump. Oh my God. Somebody make something out of that. Uncle Daddy Trump says Sister Mommy Feinstein is okay.
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever that is. Hey, so we got a super chat here from Corey Yurek. That's his name backwards. Cool. And this is relevant to our discussion here, so I want to read this out. Guys, thank you for the super chats. We appreciate that. Do you guys ever see GOA growing into the size, or having the clout of the NRA in the next 5 years or so? What path should we take? I'm going to let you answer that, and then I'm going to give my opinion. I think most people are familiar with my opinion.
Ooh, that's dangerous.
Why is this dangerous?
I don't.
You don't see them having that clout?
No.
Okay. Why not? And I know I'm absolutely putting you on the spot.
No, it's okay. And let me, I guess, preface this, not that I need to, that I don't take issue with GOA or think they're a bad
I don't think either of us takes issue with the GOA.
I don't think they have the staff or the experience within the lobbying capacity to just fill the shoes of NRA if NRA disappeared tomorrow. And I think a lot of people overlook that fact.
Well, doesn't the NRA have like a several million member lead on GOA?
Yeah, I mean, even if you took all those members and shoved them into GOA, if you didn't take any of those people who have the experience of lobbying, the connections, etc., doesn't. I don't know how much. I don't know how much of. I don't want to say it would. The members alone wouldn't be able to accomplish things because grassroots is obviously very important, but I don't think it would be something that they could just flip into. The other thing is, if you listen to any of the news and any of the things being published, you don't hear people talking about GOA as the enemy. You hear the NRA is the evil one, regardless of whether.
I think that's interesting because the GOA is very, very large. You don't hear anybody but the NRA. And you almost wonder why that is. I think it's because the NRA has been a thorn in their side for so long.
Yeah. In a lot of ways, yes. And I know a lot of people feel the NRA doesn't go far enough a lot of times. And
okay. So I think that's a solid answer. I'll give you my opinion on this. I'm going to agree with you that I don't think they'll be as big. I have taken the stance that we need both. I hate this rhetoric that's flying around that burn the NRA to the ground. It's only GOA. We're only doing one. Guys, as unfortunate as it is, the NRA is the biggest monster on our side at all. Like, the fact is they screwed up a lot of things this year. I'm not going to disagree with that. There's no way I could. I mean, hell, you heard what I said just a couple minutes ago. But the point is, to give up all of that in favor of something else that's just not quite as strong is a ridiculous premise to me. It's like saying, I have a shield that's at like, in a video game. So you've got a shield that's at like 80%, and then you've got like an arm brace, I don't know. I'm trying to explain this. What's that?
Is it a collapsible arm brace? It was a joke. Never mind.
Nice. But my point is, you've got this like a steel wall, and then you've got a shield. Right?
Sure.
So
there's a difference between as far as the effectiveness. Useful. Yes. It's
Both
just a
are very,
question as
very
to-
useful, and I don't think that either one should be given up. I don't think there is one way or a different way. I think both of them are valuable to the cause. I think the NAGR, the Second Amendment Foundation, what's the one here? There's a specific one here in Pennsylvania.
Firearms Owners Against Crime.
Firearms Owners Against Crime, the FPC, which is a big one that you got involved
Firearms
with. That
Policy
I think,
Coalition. Yep.
yeah, we had Brandon on
First
episode
podcast,
1.
yeah.
Episode 1. That is a great organization, and they're doing some really, really good stuff with you. But the point is, all of these places matter. All of the efforts matter. There is not one thing that we should be doing. We should be doing as much as we possibly can. That's what they are doing. And they're getting corporate funding.
Yeah.
They're getting millions and millions and millions of dollars of corporate funding.
Well, we talked about this, I think not last week because we weren't on, but the last episode we talked about if you looked at the donations from NRA after what happened down in Florida, the donations, I think, tripled from January, I want to say. But if you look, they had the breakdown of it, and it was individual contributions by
far outweighed.
Yeah. And everybody says the NRA, the NRA sells guns and the NRA is only there to support manufacturers, but it's individuals giving the NRA money.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, I got an email from them today saying they're trying to get 100,000 members, I think, by annual meetings or something like that. 100,000.
No idea. I don't know. I didn't see that.
Yeah, I got
I
the
didn't
email
get that
today. I
email.
thought that was an interesting thing. The chat is absolutely blowing up. Guys, thank you for participating in this discussion.
I'm sure most people are throw them under the bus.
We've got all kinds of questions. We will get to that. Let's do halftime.
Okay.
Let's do halftime.
Well, today's show is brought to you by HoloSun with their new Elite Series sights there with the titanium housing. The HoloSun has been coming out with some really cool designs there. You got a kind of, I'm trying to think of how to describe it.
Titanium?
Yeah, no,
Awesome.
not the titanium, but the style sight. A
like the
reflex
hooded
sight.
sight?
Yeah, the hooded sight.
There's a reflex style, a hooded sight that's similar in shape
To a popular
manufacturer that was sued
that
by
other
the US government.
that other
It
companies
starts
have
with an E and ends in O-Tech.
that other companies have also come up with a similar design of.
Yeah, but the point is, their stuff is great.
Yes,
We've
affordable.
got it on a bunch of stuff, and I think you guys should definitely check out HoloSun, our other sponsor, which I can no longer send you to their website.
Really?
Yeah,
It's down?
This is something that we are going to have to deal with when it comes to YouTube.
Oh.
We cannot, because of what they sell.
Yeah.
Hey, they
If
sponsored
you use,
us.
if you're smart and you're looking for something, you go to a certain search place and you type in words and it'll
Yeah.
take you there.
The company's called Freedom Munitions. They support our show. We appreciate that. I can't send you to their website because that would be against policy.
Can we tell them about
Go
what they
to
make?
TGC, theguncollective.com/partners has a link. Check it out there.
Can we tell them any more about it, or is that
We
it?
could talk about the products, I believe. I'm not really sure where all of this goes because YouTube has been very unclear.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So, Freedom Munitions, they're supporting us. YouTube is hurting us. Let's do some questions here before we get into... let's do the TGC panel. I saw you put that in there.
Oh,
TGC
I did,
panel
yeah.
is happening.
I thought that was
Oh, dear
important.
God.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's start from the beginning.
I'm going to do an
overview.
episode.
Well, I mean, we could talk about it now, right?
Yeah, we can talk
Okay.
about it now.
So, brief overview. Last year was the inaugural.
Second.
Sorry. Yes.
Last year was the second one.
Last year was the second TGC panel at the NRA annual meeting. It was the first time that it was
Held on site.
brought to you by.
Brought to you by NRA, presented by NRA. That was an incredible success. We anticipated like 300 people.
Standing room only.
650 people in that room, standing room only.
Yep.
The gun industry was at that event. Chris Cox walked by the line. This is a point that a lot of people don't know. I was walking down the line greeting everybody. Hey, thanks for coming. And who's going the opposite direction of me? Chris Cox with his mouth hanging open going, what in the world is this? The point is the NRA has decided not to support our event this year. Most likely because the gentleman sitting next to me and someone with a channel called Military Arms, and maybe some of the other panelists that were not so supportive of the NRA this year, unknown because they would not respond to my questions.
Yes.
That being said, we are still doing the event. So if you're going to be at the NRA annual meeting in Dallas, you live near Dallas, Texas, on May 5th, that's Cinco de Mayo, we want you from 7 to 11 p.m.
Please tell me this is at a Mexican joint.
No, it's at a place called Eddie Dean Ranch. It's built like an old West town inside. It's going to be pretty cool. I'm excited about this. 7 to 11 p.m. We'll do a little bit of Q&A, and then we will play some games with you guys. We're going to do giveaways of all kinds of stuff. I'll announce it because it's already KG Made has said that they are not just going to do like a suppressor. They're going to do a 22 Swarm, right? That's their rimfire can, great can. A Rogue 30, their rifle can, and then they're also going to give away. One person has the choice of an integral suppressor.
How do I win?
You don't. Sorry,
I don't want to be on the panel anymore.
I don't care.
How do I win?
You don't. Adam doesn't win no matter what.
Yeah,
so
this is true.
So if you're there, I would really appreciate you guys being there and
yes,
coming
come
out.
join us. We got a bunch of good panelists lined up. We'll be advertising that real soon, I believe.
Yeah. I'm just kind of finalizing.
Yeah,
stuff.
that's fine.
So let's see, panelists: me, Adam, Tim, Military Arms, Eric and Chad will be there. 22 Plinkster will be there. Mr. Guns and Gear. I confirmed earlier. Earlier today, Polinar Tactical from Slovenia is coming into town, and they are going to be on the panel. And Johnny from 182nd Ideas. I'm still waiting to hear back from another content creator that you all know and love.
Is he going to wear his boa?
I don't know.
He has to, otherwise he can't sit up there.
Okay. I'm sure I hope he is watching or listening. Yeah. All right, let's do some questions, guys. If you've got super chats, we will read those out 100%. We've got a couple here, and I want to kind of point those out first. Here we go. So a couple people, it says message retracted. I don't know why.
Oh, here, they're up in the document here.
Okay, we've got them in the doc.
SSP1S, is there a good range to go to in Philadelphia?
No. The ranges that you need to go to in the Philadelphia area are out in the sticks that are good.
Well, define good. I mean, if you're looking for a place to shoot in Philadelphia, I think there's two ranges, one range.
The Philly gun range is one.
Yeah, that's
and then
one.
I don't know what the other one is.
And then
called.
as you move further out, there's Action, Classic Pistol.
There's Target Master. French Creek Outfitters in Phoenixville. Anyway.
REB wants to know, I think all these problems I think all these problems are the result of the feds having too much power. I'm starting to believe the only way to knock them back into their place is a convention of the states project.
I don't see that happening.
Dangerous proposition. Yeah. I mean, it's so hard to get people to do
you can't even get people to vote. And
well,
you want to get a convention you cannot.
You can. They just
40% of Americans voted?
Yeah, but how many people that weren't Americans voted?
I know.
That's a joke.
Oh, for God's sake.
So good. All right. Pete Allen, I joined both the NRA and GOA this year. I want as many folks in DC fighting for my Second Amendment rights as possible. Right on, man. Good for you.
Thank you, Pete Allen.
Logic
That's the attitude.
Rex. Second Amendment rally nationwide, April 14th, your state capital. Yeah, we'll come back to that in a second because I do want to talk about that.
Yeah, that's
Gurnes 2, do you think an assault weapons ban is inevitable? Do you think something will end up pushed or snuck through?
Well, the ATF is about to change the definition of machine gun. They're attempting to.
I don't know. At the federal level, I think that one is still questionable. At the state level, however, I think that's where you're going to see this fight being waged. And I think based on what's been going on, it's very clear that the anti-gun crowd has decided the states are the level to certainly push harder at because they're winning in some of this stuff.
Absolutely. They're winning all over the place.
I think that one is certainly a possibility here. So let's jump back real quick to the Second Amendment rally nationwide, April 14th. So a lot of people have been messaging us about rallies and things like that, particularly that rally.
A whole bunch of questions. So yeah. Sorry. Keep going.
And the one thing, so I don't know where this originated from. I had seen in the wake of the rally after what happened down at
it's from a group with a really strange website or really strange name. It's like National Coalition or something blah 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 blah. I don't know the name.
The point
of
is that I saw after what happened down in Florida and the anti-gun rallies that occurred, March for Our Lives, things like that, all these people, we need a rally. And so they attempt to throw together a rally here, and it's scheduled for Saturday.
Yeah, so
who's not there Saturday?
People working.
So the legislators.
So the group putting this together is the National Constitutional Coalition of Patriotic Americans. Could you sound more like a
Well, that's what
militia
they're
group?
called. That's what they're called. So how long have they
It's
been
a
around?
PR thing. Come on, be smart about this.
Well, that's what they're called. How long has it been in existence for?
I don't know, but yeah, I guess you're right. It doesn't really matter as much as the effort.
Right. So apparently this is a thing this Saturday, and a lot of people have been yelling at us. Well, why aren't you going to that? Well, that's because our state has an annual rally,
An established rally.
that's
On the
happened
30th.
for over 12 years. I think this is the 12th year.
Yeah, and it happens on a Monday when people are actually there, and we may
And
make
they
an
go
impact.
and we go lobby after.
Yeah.
Not everybody, the majority of people there then go and walk around, talk to the legislators after the rally itself.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the whole point of it. So there's a big rally in Harrisburg, April 30th, 10 a.m. in the Rotunda. If you don't know what the Rotunda is, you'll see all the people there.
Yeah, we'll be covering it a little bit on social media because
I'll be there.
it's important.
Yeah, it's an important thing. I've been going for the last 5 years, I think now. It's funny. When I had an internship at the lieutenant governor's office. Quick aside here, and when I went for my interview, it was the same day as the rally. So I showed up dressed in a suit, did my interview, changed in the bathroom, went down and rallied with all the people outside. It was a good time. So
here's another point. Izzy just added this to
in Minnesota, their annual rally is April 28th.
which is on a Saturday.
Well, it is what it is.
But it's whatever. Listen, the idea and the reason why we believe a Monday is more effective is because you can actually get something done and actually talk to these people when they're in their offices, when they're actually supposed to.
They
be
see
working.
it.
Yeah,
They
with their own
a
eyes.
lot of them walk through and see that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So.
So we've made our point there. Let's keep on moving. If you guys have questions, please dump them in the comments. I know you guys are on fire about all of this stuff, so we want to try and get as many questions going as we possibly can.
So, well, we're going to go back to some articles here.
I want to keep going on questions. So when will YouTube kill you and other gun channels? They're not going to completely kill it. It'll be a death by 1,000 paper cuts if they decide to do that. Didn't medical weed card holders get their gun rights revoked in Hawaii? Hey, knock, knock. We covered this on the legal brief. Nationwide, if you have a medical marijuana card, it is a federal issue.
ATF has taken the position that if you hold a medical marijuana card, you are an unlawful user of a controlled substance.
Medical marijuana is marijuana. It is still banned on a federal level.
Yeah, I know.
Regardless
Boo,
of
right?
how dumb that is. Here, this Mike Smith's question. Go ahead and answer that one. And then
I don't know the answer to that. The question is relating to the NRA Board of Directors election.
I think people just need an update.
Yeah, they did away with preliminary results this year, so voting closes. Ballots have to be returned by the 15th, which is I think on Sunday, and means maybe the end of next week we'll know something. Maybe not. I'm not sure. It'll be a little bit. It'll be on social media when we find out.
When, besides Vegas, was a bump stock ever used in a mass shooting? We don't even know that it was in Vegas.
Yep.
We don't know that. I don't think there was ever any
I don't know
actual
if
evidence.
I don't know if the report has it or not.
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
have
I mean, that honestly, it wasn't that long ago for us to be able to get that kind of thing going. Sorry, I'm getting a weird phone call.
What's your stance on folks afraid to seek help concerning mental health and owning firearms? Well, that's an interesting question. There's a little lack of context there, but if it's, there's certainly, I can understand the fear of some individuals given the current political climate of potentially seeking treatment for something if they're concerned about their firearms rights. The flip side of the coin is you need to be adjudicated mentally a mental defective, so mentally incompetent, or you need to be involuntarily committed for that to trigger prohibition at the federal level. Now, I don't know if some states are different or not. So, for instance, here in Pennsylvania, if somebody attempts to involuntarily commit you and you successfully say, nope, look, I'll go voluntarily to treatment, and they don't actually involuntarily commit you anyway, you don't need to worry about it. If you get involuntarily committed, you're out of luck. So I can sympathize with that, but the reality is, at least currently, the way it should work is if you voluntarily seek treatment, it should not be a problem. under federal law.
All right, let's hit a couple of our articles here.
All right.
I think that's a good amount of questions for now. Guys, remember, we'll get back to some more questions before we wrap up.
All right, we're going to pop this one up on the screen here for people, and
So-
I'm going to have you describe this because
Yeah,
the
this
people
is
listening
an
can't
interesting
see it.
one. So both Adam and I are buddies with the guy who put this project together. His name's J.W. Ramp, and it's essentially a complete set of images that show you certain pistol sights in various lighting conditions, and I think this is one of the best images I've seen in a long time in regards to this kind of topic, as far as completely and utterly embracing what it is as a whole. It's there's an RMR with a black front and rear sight. There is an RMR with different light. You know, it's got overhead light in front, light on the target, light on the what is it? The pistol light on, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it's basically a chart that shows you the effectiveness or the way these sights will look in various light conditions, and it is absolutely thorough. It's incredible. I think it's really, really smart. I don't know that it's comprehensive in any way because there are so many sighting options when it comes to pistols, but it is pretty damn cool to begin with. Do you have any opinion on this?
Yeah, it's a really neat series
I think it's
of
a
images.
great idea.
You can find it over on, I don't know if we said it or not. Can we say that?
Yeah, you can say
The
that.
Firearm blog.
Yeah.
And it is by one of our mutual friends here. And it certainly does show things that you may not otherwise have thought about.
It's a really, really interesting thing. So
yeah, it certainly
it's
is
like
a
room
unique
light
take.
on, overhead light on, pistol light on.
Right,
You know,
and then it's got
with everything on, and then one of those on and one of those off, and
it has, I think, pretty much every variable or
Yeah, so-
permutation of
so-
that. So
there are 6 different sight
6 different
variants
sight variants, and there's 6
and,
different,
yeah, 6 different lighting
conditions, including all the way off. So
very cool.
very cool.
JW killing it on that.
We
Also a
dig.
very good photographer.
Yes, amazing
Yeah, he's
photographer,
very good.
actually. Yeah.
So we talked about the rally. All
hold
right.
on.
So
We got,
are we back to questions?
no,
already?
no.
You got another one?
Yeah, I got another one here. So a freshman out in Wisconsin has sued his principal, who banned T-shirts depicting guns, which is going to be interesting.
Wait, what happened? I'm sorry.
So
I don't have that article in my thing.
yeah. So Milwaukee, this is out in Wisconsin. The suit names the principal as the sole defendant, claims he violated the student's freedom of expression by restricting him from wearing shirts that depict guns and other weapons in a non-violent, non-threatening manner.
It says love in gun shapes. That's a very popular thing. I actually have that that poster.
Yeah, so apparently the 2 shirts here that are in the article crossed the line for the principal. One says "Celebrate Diversity" and depicts a variety of firearms. So it looks like there's a MP5 on it. It looks like there's
An FS2000,
an
a
FS2000,
PS90,
an AK-47,
couple
a
different
FAMAS.
handguns.
And then the other one is the picture, if you've ever seen it, that says "Love." Let me see if I can find it real quick with the guns. And that one,
it's everywhere.
Yep, I know. I found it.
You can just put that up.
Yeah, we're gonna do that. So it's the one that has the handgun and the grenade and the knife and the other gun at the end there. So
That's the only one I've ever seen with actual guns. I've always seen it as like a Rorschach kind of thing.
Google. We found it. Yeah. So he apparently did not care for that. Represented by a Georgia-based attorney. And what's interesting here is, so there's no explicit school rule against T-shirts featuring guns, but he has discretion, he claims, to restrict clothing at school he deems inappropriate.
Oh, I think there's some legitimacy to the principal being able to do this, because at a school you don't get constitutional rights.
Not true.
How is that not true?
Tinker v. Des Moines, Iowa.
Ooh.
Students don't shed
Case
their
law.
constitutional rights at the schoolhouse gate or door or whatever it was.
Okay.
That case was about black armbands that kids were wearing to school to protest. I forget what it was exactly, but the Supreme Court said that the students don't shed their constitutional rights.
So,
which is why
if that's the case, then there was talk of that clear backpack thing being a violation of Fourth Amendment, First Amendment, that sort of stuff. Do you agree, disagree with any of that?
I don't know.
You don't know?
It's in plain view. I honestly don't know. I haven't given it much thought.
Yeah, that's interesting.
You do have constitutional rights.
Yeah. Okay. You cited case law, and you know better than I do.
Well,
I'm not disagreeing.
That. I just pretend to know better than you do.
You're an attorney, and I trust your opinion.
Ooh.
So the point is that this kid is suing his school or the principal.
He's suing his principal only. So this one will be interesting because it certainly is a free. It certainly is a First Amendment issue here.
All right, we got another super chat here. Cheeseman 2022. I DM you on Twitter under the same name, links to countries that sell AR-15s to civilians. We need to act like an international community. Look at it. I don't understand what that means.
He sent a message to somebody on Twitter. I don't know if that was me or you. I don't use Twitter frequently. Occasionally I'll...
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what that means. I don't know what other countries are doing with AR-15s. I think it's a dangerous thing to try and compare the U.S. to a lot of other countries.
It's not comparable because
they don't have a constitution.
Well, a lot of countries do have a constitution,
not like ours.
Not like ours. Right.
Can we please announce somebody said, can you please announce that to the group? And I'm not sure what the context is there. We've got a bunch of questions here. Let's see what we've got. Oh man, it's been a heck of a week. With all these horrible anti-Second Amendment bills being proposed, is it time to really stock up? It's always time to stock up. It's always time to stock up.
Sure. I mean, if you could afford to continue to buy things, I don't know why
I don't know that panic buying will ever set in like it did before. But the threat, it's interesting to me because the threat is more real than it's ever been, yet I don't see panic buying on mass levels. Would you agree?
I don't work in a shop anymore, so I can't.
Yeah,
but I think it's been slower. I think it's been slower than it was, and I think part of it is because people still believe that we have a Republican president. See what I did there? Keltec has announced a safety recall on some of the 2017 made sub-2000 carbines due to improper heat treating. So you're going to want to head on over to keltec.com if you got one of those bad boys and see if yours is on that recall list. Thought that was worth mentioning.
Yeah, that is worth mentioning.
Don't want somebody to blow themselves up.
We've got a question here from NCPD FSB. And he says, can we talk why approaching the NRA TV to host YouTuber gun channels is a bad idea? Question mark.
Absolutely.
We can certainly do that. NRA TV and most of their forward-facing, if not all of their forward-facing stuff, is controlled by a company called Ackerman McQueen. They are a marketing company. They want control of your soul. I will give up none of such things.
Ooh, interesting. That's not even where I was going to go.
They want control. They want to control the message. And
I 100% agree with you.
Where are you going to go with it?
My point was going to be that, and I guess it's...
I guess you can't dissent the NRA on their own network, could you? I mean, I guess you could.
No, probably
It's probably not a great idea.
Probably, yeah. You know, like, what's the movie, V for Vendetta, where they dissent even in secret and then they get black bagged and something like that. Anyway, if I don't make it out of the annual meeting, you know what happened. The thing I was thinking was, and it's kind of an ancillary thing, but it's something I think worth mentioning, at least with YouTube currently in the way theoretically it would work, is that YouTube attracts people from all different, walks of life, all different kinds of political leanings, all different kinds of viewpoints on things. If people stumbled onto content there and watch things and, again, people with an open mind, not people that are like super set in their positions on things, they potentially might have a shift in opinion. They potentially may learn something. They potentially may be turned on to something they weren't previously. If you put content that's like on a dedicated network for people who know what it is, it's only going to go to those people. It's never going to expand.
So what you're saying is that it's not going to reach a bigger audience because it's only to the NRA's base.
Well,
not
only is it to the NRA's base, it's to the specific subset of the NRA's base that watches NRA TV. It's like
the same could be argued
choir.
about any gun specific thing, but I think you shrink it to a level.
A minutia.
The point, at least from my opinion, the way we do things, I can't speak for everybody else. We release on multiple platforms to reach the maximum amount of people possible, right? That's why TGC has been successful, is because we reach people all over on all kinds of platforms. We publish on Full30, YouTube, and Facebook all at the same time. That's why we reach a whole bunch of people. But to go to a gun-specific thing, and this has been the case with gun-specific social media, that's been attempted multiple times. When Facebook freaked out and said no selling guns, people went for about 5 minutes. They were like, we need a gun Facebook. Like that. You didn't see the hand thing, did you? Just like that. They put their hand up and they said, we need a gun-specific Facebook. And then a few people tried it and failed. The reason they failed is because the core of how these sites are successful is the fact that you are a multifaceted person and you are not only guns. So you go to a gun-specific site, you spend less time there, and therefore you do not have a social media platform. The Facebook is successful because they encompass all of your life. You can share your entire being there. YouTube is successful because you can find information for anything. You can get lost in this rabbit hole of, I don't know how many years they've been. I think it was 2003 when YouTube started, something like that. Can you look that up for me?
Sure.
I want to see when that started. They've been doing this for over a decade now, and they've got a
February
Rolodex.
14th, 2005.
2005 is when
San
YouTube
Mateo,
started,
California.
and that was before Google bought them. So since 2005, they've been archiving video. So think of this. So let's say that a site tries to keep up with YouTube. They cannot create that massive backlog of content with a snap of their fingers. They have to try and create all that stuff very, very quickly. It is a very complex issue that we're up against.
You need to have a bunch of content creators of all walks of life walk onto a platform and start uploading stuff.
To truly go at YouTube, you've got to have a mass exodus, and people have to cut it off, literally hack off their YouTube limb and say no more. They have to do that in order for YouTube to take a real hit, and nobody is going to do that with money involved.
What's the incentive for the majority of content creators on YouTube to do it? There isn't any.
Right. Also, let's on this topic, and I don't know if you've got anything to talk about in regards to monetization. Shout out to all the small channels out there, the guys that have like 100 subscribers that are crying about monetization of their channel. Guys, it doesn't matter. We've got over 100,000 subscribers, and I still can't pay a single person their monthly salary on the amount that we bring in from YouTube revenue. So stop pretending like you need that 5 cents a month, and that's going to make a difference. That's going to make or break your channel. The way a channel grows is through great content. Pretending like people owe you money just because you decided to make a video is asinine. Stop it. The point of making these videos should, in my opinion, be to share great content, to bring education, to make people enjoy the firearms, the shooting sports, etc. more. Focusing on the dollar is backwards. Everything will come if you create great content. Sorry, I had to say that because it's very frustrating when I see, people that don't have a huge audience crying about monetization. I think that's ridiculous. Now, there is an argument for monetization affecting your reach. There is an argument for that, but that's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I don't know enough about the topic.
Somebody said they turned the bell on so they could subscribe and watch and all that sort of stuff. I appreciate that. The notification bell is much appreciated. Do we have any more questions here, Adam?
No,
All
We're
right.
also hitting our time limit here. Our
Hey,
time
that's
wall,
perfect.
So, I think that'll take us to the end of this week's show. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Be sure, if you're in Pennsylvania, Monday, April 30th, 10 a.m., Rotunda. I'll be there. John will be there. We'll likely have some more friends there. Come say hi. Come do see us. Let us know. Happy to meet people.
Yeah.
It's important that Pennsylvanians show up.
What's that time again?
10 a.m.
10 a.m. Monday, April 30th.
Yes. In the Rotunda. Because I don't think we're going to bust children in like
That is the
they
week
did.
before NRA annual meetings.
Yeah, it's pretty darn close there. So yeah, that'll take us to the end. If you are watching this on YouTube, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Full 30, The Gun Collective, at The Gun Collective on Instagram,
theguncollective.com.
Send your hate mail to the trash can or theguncollective@gmail.com, whichever you prefer. I'll send it to the trash can. That's it for this week's show. Thank you, everybody, for stopping by, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.